Hello? Hello? Anybody there? What kind of transition is this?
You. Yes, you. I have heard about you. Picking monsters one by one with these monster matchups, as if they were mere playthings. Some show where you get to know your foe from head to toe. I am no such thing.
I can take you. I'll cover you just like the rest of the monsters, you monster.
Oh, am I to feel honored by this lowly hunter, bestowing his attention unto me? Oh, you fool. You are not ready for me. I will destroy you where you stand without batting an eye. You have only scratched the surface of what's to come. These weaklings, they are nothing compared to what awaits you. If you even want to think of facing me, you will need to surpass more than a red dog picking at rotten meat. This new world and its inhabitants, I will make them mine.
I mean, there are other dangerous monsters out there. They might even be stronger than you.
That is not true.
There's Behemoth.
Stop it.
The Elder Dragons.
You're ruining the setup for your series antagonist.
Even the big Chungress for the anniversary of Monster Hunter World.
Enough!
Look, you can't just waltz in here and do that thing that you done did.
So you insist that the odds are in your favor. Let me tell you something. In time, you will know what it's like to lose. To feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail. All the same, dread it. Run from it. I will still arrive. I will see you in the future, whether you're ready or not. Don't disappoint me, Hunter.
Gabe? Wake up, Gabe. Can't have you disappearing for over a month again.
What?
Nothing. Welcome back. You got messed up pretty bad back there.
Where am I?
Some visual representation of your interactions with other monsters with some excuse of animation through our icons floating. I mean, you're outside the veil. Yeah, you're outside the veil.
I feel chunky.
Or maybe it's because you're full of yourself.
What?
Nothing. It's a good thing you came back. I sure hope you got something good. After taking a while.
Yes.
Starting a series, then also putting that on hold.
I get it.
Still waiting on the next how I feel.
Okay, that's enough.
Even Legiana thinks the last monster matchup was a meh out of 10.
Okay.
Alright.
It's the topic of energy. Will you stop that?
The topic of energy.
Now, what happened? There's this huge thing. It attacked Odogaron.
Yeah, it almost got him. And you. But amazingly, somebody stepped up to the plate.
Yeah, no need to thank me or anything.
How was your flight that thing gave you?
Shut up. What do you mean? Great Gyros is the least likable being in the new world. What did he do? Wow, it's not like I'm in front of you or anything. If you have to know, I shocked that big monster and forced it to put down the red weasel. You did? 'Cause it's my swamp. And you know, maybe I'm not as bad as you make me out to be, but whatever. Well, where's Odie? He stole my corner of hateful brooding and he's over there crying like a baby. Hey, come on, buddy. Are you alright? Look, come on, your time's finally here. It's the Odogaron monster matchup. People have been dying to see this. I'm pretty sure somebody actually died waiting. Probably a skeleton sitting at their computer. Don't be so hard on yourself because of the big thing that attacked you. You're awesome. You scared the daylights out of me when I first fought you. Come on, Clifford, you are a tough monster. A good doggo. Who's good? Come on, you could do more. Who is a good monster? There we go, that's more like it. Come on, let's make a video on how to kick your butt. Welcome to the Monster Matchup, the show where you get to know your foe from head to toe. Hey, it's me. Did you miss me? I missed you too. Wink. It's time for everybody's favorite meat puppy, the fast and particularly furious, the first literal hype beast of the monster matchup lineup, Odogaron, also known as the Red Weasel, also known as Clifford, the big red dog. This pupperino made me do a poopy cappuccino in my underinos. So what's the big deal?
Let's look and see, though. 3, 2, 1. Bacon strips! Odogaron is really cool. Not just in appearance, but the combat can really keep you on your toes. Clifford incorporates several different elements when hunters fight it, and with Doggo appearing in both the Rotten Vale and Coral Highlands, there are different ways to approach him. Considering he'll be found more often in the Vale, for the sake of this monster matchup, we'll be taking a look down under. Odie doesn't like slow-moving hunters. At all. He will run around you in circles without breaking a sweat if you're recklessly swinging around that greatsword. That doesn't mean it's not a viable option. I saw somebody slay Clifford with a greatsword in less than a minute. But I'm not here to crunch numbers for speedrunners. I'm here to tell you to use what you want against this thing, but be careful. Like I said, Odogaron is a very mobile monster, and even though it doesn't have wings, the combos that could be dished out more than compensate. If you haven't learned how to dodge yet, now is a good time. Odogaron's fighting capabilities include, but are not limited to, Stalk, Tail Crater, Knockover Fakeout, and my anus is bleeding! 3 things you should know about Odie. Moves fast, does wombo combos, and will turn you into a walking hemorrhoid. Clifford can easily maneuver around an area of space, sometimes displacing itself considerably between attacks. This makes it very hard for heavy weapon users to pinpoint their swings. Light weapon and ranged weapon users are going to struggle a lot less off the bat, as most of their attacks can be made or missed with less consequence than that of a poor hunting horn user in the middle of booting their doot when Odie all of a sudden teleports behind them saying nothing personnel, kid. Gabe, I used a heavy weapon when fighting Odie on my first try and I didn't have any problem at all. Well, that's awesome. I wish I was that lucky. So here's a little advice for the fellow hunters who struggled out there and did not ace their Odogaron fight the first time around. To combat the speed of Red Weasel, timing his attacks and yours in conjunction is gonna be important. Yes, it's something you do with pretty much every monster, but it's especially the case here. This time around, you'll get pummeled into submission if you miss that one swing or underestimate a combo being done on you. Speaking of which, combos! Another tricky part about Clifford is the spontaneity of his combined attacks. Tail whips, bites, and claw swipes are all part of his arsenal. You really have to keep your eye on the monster after it attacks, even if you thought it was the last link in the chain. Because if you count the number of attacks, stop paying attention, and then end up being wrong, Odie's gonna be like,
Psych! That's the wrong number!
But if you stay on the defense and wait for the right moment, you can get the jump on it before it gets a jump on you. If you see a wall, spoiler alert, the Vale has a lot of them, Clifford may use it for a jump attack. A really good means to keeping it still is using a trap when it's putting pressure on you. That'll slow it down enough to dish out some pain if he's being mobile, especially, and giving you a hard time that time around. Now here's the scary part of fighting Odogaron. The unique ailment that its claw attacks and just about every attack when it's enraged will proc on you. De bleed. Bleed makes you take damage the more you move around after it's been procced. Odie is essentially the Dark Souls dexterity build with a bleed weapon. In before somebody comments a counter build or a counter strategy for bleed weapons in Dark Souls. But here are some things you can do to avoid or minimize the scary red flashing health bar. Number 1, don't get hit. Number 2, try to stay still and crouch. This will eventually stop the bleeding, assuming he's not running around you right now preparing to proc it again. You can use a health booster along with this method and it might help. This is a very big judgment call on the hunter's part. If you feel like you can pull it off, go for it. Number 3, a more preferable option to 2 when in the heat of battle, use anti-bleed items. This can include the consumables Astera Jerky, Sushi Fish Scales, or Great Sushi Fish Scales. The jerky you can get from the provisions, and the scales from the fish you can get from fishing. Wow, who'da thunk? Consuming these will give you back a certain amount of health and get rid of that pesky bleeding. Also a little recovery boost too. So like an onion, Odogaron's battle will have layers. But let's peel at this thing and take a look at the Red Wolverine thing's weaknesses. Tire the monster out. When it's in fits of rage and it tries to combo you, just slow it down to a stop and then eventually you'll get that golden moment and it'll allow for damage dealing or setting up a trap to allow for damage dealing. You'll also see these holes in the wall where the monster can climb in. On the topic of layers, this area is indeed its lair/resting area. It drags meat down here and goes to this spot when it gets weak. You'll either find it sleeping at that point or steaming with rage. Really hit or miss. I guess they never miss. Oh my god. I couldn't help myself. It was right there. for the taking, and I made the joke my mind is poisoned. Ah! Weak points. The head, front claws and feet, and tail are all weak points, with all 4 feet and the head being breakable. The tail can also be cut off. Element weaknesses. Dragon damage, what's that? It's no good here, that's what it is. Fire and water damage are which is perfectly fine because everybody and their mother are either resistant or immune to fire damage, and water damage is for little babies still in the Weenie Hut Ancient Forest Juniors. You're in the salty spittoon known as the Rotten Vale now. You're a big kid, ditch those huggies and get you some ice damage. Ailment weaknesses. Poison is the least effective ailment, but it still does something. Sleep, blast, and stun are all effective, and the creme de la creme of ailments is paralysis? Dude, really? You're surrounded by paralysis in the Vale, and that's what you're weakest against? You never built a tolerance or anything? Well, Paratoads and the Gyros gang will be very helpful in keeping Odogaron still with his paralysis weakness, so use the environment to your advantage, folks. Paralysis is a winner in this battle. Relax, buddy. Every monster has a weakness. You'll still be kicking Hunter butt down there. So overall, Odogaron is an interesting specimen with its aesthetic and aptitude in battle. It's no wonder so many folks consider this their favorite monster. While it may not be my absolute favorite,